Ram, and I'll be the one covering this live session. So guys, this live session's topic is Docker certification. Now this video will be later uploaded as a video on our channel, so a lot of you may be viewing this much later. So that's not a problem. We know that a lot of you are interested in Docker, and some of you have already done Docker and are now looking to get into Docker certification because you want to show your future employer that you are certified as a Docker associate. So guys, in this video I will entail all those details that will help you to attain Docker certification. So let's start with the agenda. So guys, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to start with discussing what is Docker. For all those who are beginners, you can skip directly to Docker certification if you want to. Then we'll talk about Docker certification and overview. We'll talk about what it is, why do we need to use it, and then we'll move on to discuss the syllabus of all the things there will be that you need to learn to get the certification. Now obviously there's going to be an exam that you have to give, and for that exam there'll be a syllabus, and I'll talk about the syllabus in that topic. And then we'll move on to see if there are any other certifications that you guys can get that may help your career. And finally we will end by discussing how you can get started in your journey to getting a better career or making a better career and future for yourself. So let's get started. What is Docker? Now for those of you who don't know what Docker is, in simple words, Docker is a containerization software. So what it basically does is it creates an isolated environment. It creates an environment in which apps and parts of those apps can be contained. Now, we create these isolated environments so that we keep consistency. A good example would be that if you have a developer and a tester and both of them use different operating systems. One uses Windows system and the other uses Linux system. Now, we know that these operating systems work on different bases. So there might be some clashes if you're transferring code from one operating system to another. That's why we have isolated environments. If you are keeping your app in an isolated environment, nothing is going to happen to it. It's going to stay the same, stay consistent. So that's what Docker helps us to do. It basically helps us to keep consistency over different applications, different operating systems. Now, obviously, it has many more use cases that is used for, like such as your microservices. You can use Docker to implement a microsystem architecture in your app deployment. And to guys talking about that will go way ahead or way more than we actually need to talk about in this session. So if you want to get to know more about Docker, please go ahead and watch our Docker tutorial video in which we detail all of these things. Go ahead and watch that if you already don't know what Docker is. Again, so let me just give you what Docker does. Docker provides tooling and platform it gives a platform to manage life cycles of your containers. It develops your application. It supports, it's basically supporting components using those containers. The container becomes the unit for distributing and testing your application. And when you're ready, deploy your application into the production environment as a container or an orchestrated service. This works the same whether your production environment is a local data center, a cloud provider, or a hybrid of two. Okay, so that was Docker. Now let's look at Docker certification. Now many of you will be here just for this. What is Docker certification and how can you get it? So Docker certification is something that is provided by the Docker as a company itself. They give you something called Docker Certificate Associate. Now this is an exam on which when you pass, you will get a certificate with your name that can be identified anywhere and verified. Hey guys, welcome to this live session by Intellipaat. It will be available. My name is Ram and I'll be special privilege in LinkedIn where you can identify yourself as a Docker associate and that Docker verified by LinkedIn. And now this video will be a lot of privileges. It tells everyone that you are an expert in Docker and people should hire you. So that's not a problem because you are that a lot of you are interested now Docker, and now you might already buy to get a Docker certification, the first Docker certification, because you want to show your employer shifting to this new model of certified as a Docker, where you are deploying in this video I will entail all those details, and to do that you need help you to attain applications like Docker, Kubernetes, and make the whole use of the whole DevOps culture. Now to learn more about DevOps and Kubernetes, we have videos for those also. If you guys don't know about it, please go watch them. It will help you greatly understand what the whole scene is in production and development. So that's why you need to get a Docker certification, because since a lot of companies are shifting to this model, they require people who have knowledge in this thing. And if you have a Docker certification that is an official certification, then definitely people are going to employ you. As it states here, as the first exam, in a comprehensive multi-tiered professional certification program. The DCA, or the Docker Certificate Associate, serves as a foundational benchmark for real-world Docker skills across the container industry. So basically, you're going to be, verified as a person who has extensive knowledge in containers and especially Docker. That's why you should get Docker certification. Alright, now let's discuss prerequisites. Now you may definitely be wondering what are the things that you will need to know before you get into Docker. So don't worry. If you're a beginner or if you are at the beginner level, Docker does not require many prerequisites. The thing is, you need to start working with Docker. Open up the documentation, start using the smallest command or the easiest commands to work with, and then step by step learn the advanced stuff and etc. So basically, if you want to give the Docker certificate exam, then you need to have at least 6 months of experience in working with Docker. Now obviously this depends on person to person. The 6 months is an average time period in which a person gets acquainted with Docker and all its aspects. So if you're a beginner, then I would not recommend getting a Docker certification in the start itself. I would recommend you to start working on the side. But if you're a professional, then I would definitely recommend learning Docker for 6 months while you're working, because you're working and side by side you're developing your Docker skills and implement them. And finally, if you think you're confident enough, you should go ahead and give the Docker certification exam. And the experience developing code. Now, you need to know at least one high-level programming language. Now, this is not a complete must, but it makes sense because you're going to go into an industry where people know about coding, at least a little bit. And if you're definitely going to work as a Docker engineer, you will need to know how to work with shell scripting, and you need to know how to build Python, or at least any one high-level language, or at least know the fundamentals of how it works, because you can always learn on the job. Then you have basic Linux knowledge. You need to know how a Linux kernel works and what are the different commands that you can use for administrating any Linux servers. All the basic information for Linux. Then you need to have a basic idea about networking and namespaces, because they're extensively used with Docker. So need to know at least a little bit about what networking is and how messages sent and how networking works in fundamentals. Now, one last thing that you need to know is basically the understanding of modern development, operations processes, and methodologies. So this is something that you will learn on the job actually, because if you already know, then it's really good thing, because if you know how DevOps works and if you know how the whole culture of the new culture where you are continuously integrating everything, continuously deploying your application, making sure there is the least amount of downtime for your application or your service, then it's the best. That's the modern development methodology or thought or mindset that you need to know about. Alright, so guys, these are the basic prerequisites. Just keep them in mind before you give the Docker certification exam. Here are the exam details. Now in the exam you'll have 13 multiple choices and 42 discrete option multiple choice questions, and that you have to do in 90 minutes. Now it is designed to validate professionals with a minimum of 6 to 12 months. So Docker itself recommends at least 6 to 12 months of knowledge and experience with Docker. So make sure that you practice with Docker. Even in your free time, try to containerize your everyday to use applications to see what happens. Experiment. It will help you out a lot to understand Docker. Then remotely proctored on your Windows or Mac computer. So you can give the exam on a Windows computer as well as a Mac computer. So you don't have to go to examination center to give this. You can give it on your system itself. Obviously there are going to be some requirements. You need to have a webcam, and you will need to use a specific application. You need to have a working Chrome browser or browser based on Chromium, and you need to have at least Windows 7 and above and the latest version of macOS. Okay, so it is available in English, so you'll be giving this exam obviously in English. And okay, there comes the pricing. So the pricing for Docker is basically $195 or 175 euros, which is a lot of amount, but you have to understand that Docker is a very premium product. A lot of companies are very dependent on Docker. Docker is the best containerization tool out there. Obviously there are others, but Docker is the best. That's why the price is so high. There are very less amount of alternatives to Docker, and that's why they charge so much. And again, once you're done with the exam, you will get the results immediately. Like once you click on submit, you will see the results. You find your certification, name on the certification, and you can always just email it to your mail. So guys, these are the exam details. For any more details to understand more, go ahead and check out the Docker website for the same. Alright, so now let's look at the Docker syllabus. There are a lot of things in the Docker syllabus that you will need to know. So let me go into the basics of them. So you have different domains. There are 6 domains. You have orchestration, you have image creation, management, registry, installation and configuration, networking, security, storage, and volumes. And the percentages of these things that will be there in the exam. So let's start with orchestration. So in orchestration, basically, you'll be learning how to completely set up the Swarm mode cluster. That is the Docker Swarm, how to set it up, how to manage any containers, how to basically tell someone that this container is working, what is the information about this container, and what are the different services running under this Swarm, etc., etc. So a lot of different things. You need to know the importance of quorum in Swarm clusters. You need to know the difference between running a container and running a service, which are different. Then you need to interpret the output of Docker inspect commands. So basically you need to know how to debug issue that there might be in a container, and see what are the results of the Docker inspect command when you inspect a particular container. So etc., etc. Orchestration, everything related to orchestration will be here, and that is the major part of this thing. Orchestration is basically managing. So when you have multiple containers that help you deploy an application, you need to know how to manage them, and that's where Docker excels very well. So that's why it has a majority of the percentage in the exam. Then you have image creation management and registry. So here basically you will need to know about how to create a Docker file, how to use options such as add, copy, volumes, expose, entry point. Then you need to know what the Docker compose command is, and etc., etc. You need to know what the Docker registry is, what are the Docker private registry, and AWS ECR registry, all those different things. Then domain 3, basically installation and configuration. So you need to know how to install Docker on different platforms and how to configure them so that they don't have any issues or any conflicts when it's working on those platforms. Then domain 4, networking. Again, networking is very important to Docker. Now in networking, you'll basically be seeing what are the different Docker network models out there. You have your MAC VLAN, you have the normal networking, you have the overlay, and etc., etc., bridge network, all those different types of networking that you need to know. You need to know the different types of traffic that may flow between the Docker engine, the registry, and the UCP and the CLI. And you need to know how to create all those different networks I just told you about, the bridge network, overlay network, and MAC VLAN network, and all those different non-network, host network, all those different types of networks you need to know about. So that's basically you'll be learning in network. Then you have security domain. In security domain, again, security is important because when you're working with your application is the company's asset, and you don't want anyone to steal it. So you need to make sure it is secure. And that's why you need to know Docker security also. You need to know this how to do security administration and all the different tasks. You need to know the process of signing an image. You need to know about the default engine security. You need to know about the Swarm security. You need to know about MTLS. You need to know how to identify roles in Docker. Then you need to compare and contrast UCP workers and managers. Then describe the process to use external certificates with UCP and DDR. So all those different things. And then domain 6. So in domain 6, you basically going through storage and volumes. So you'll be storing data in those containers, right? So you have storage and basically volumes for that purpose. So you need to know all the things related to it, like all the drivers that are used for it. You need to know how to configure any device mapper. You need to compare and contrast object and block storage when they should be used. So all those different things. So don't worry about the syllabus. We have uploaded the link to the syllabus in our description. Go ahead and check it out. It will be there. You can see all the different things in the syllabus in detail over there. Alright, so now let's look at some other certifications that you guys can check out. Now we have other certifications like Devops certification. We have Kubernetes application developer and administration certification, AWS developer solutions architect, cloud practitioner certification, and Azure certification. So Devops certification is basically will give you an idea of how the whole DevOps culture and mindset is in all the different basically all the different aspects of DevOps. There is no official DevOps certification. You can get a certification from any reputed e-learning institute like us. And when you do take that certification, you will get the whole idea of the new modern development procedures and methodologies that are being used. Now, Kubernetes is important because a lot of companies don't make use of Docker Swarm itself. Now, Docker Swarm is an orchestration service. They instead use Kubernetes as the orchestration service. Now, this is not the case everywhere, obviously. Some companies do make use of Docker Swarm, but a majority of the companies make use of Kubernetes. So you need to know how to work and use Kubernetes. So you can go ahead and check that certification out also. Then if you're getting into the whole DevOps domain, right? So it's always good to have some kind of cloud knowledge, and you can either go ahead with GCP, AWS, or Azure. Get certifications in either one of them, and that will definitely help you out. Being an AWS developer or solutions architect itself is going to help you out a lot. So if you have all these different certificates where you are a solutions architect, a developer, and you know about Docker and you know about DevOps, then definitely people will be more willing to take you in as their employee. But guys, remember that do not rote learn anything. Or make sure that you understand everything you're learning, because if you want to get into this industry, you either need to enjoy what you're doing or you need to understand very well what you're doing. So make sure that you do not rote learn anything. Make sure that you understand everything that you're learning. All right. Okay, so guys, those are the different other certifications that you could use. So how do you get started, right? So that's the question that might be coming up in your mind. So guys, the first and foremost resource that I would tell you guys to use is Google. Now this may be a little bit contrary, but Google will help you out a lot. You just type in Docker, go through the documentation, learn about them through different videos, and that's where we come in. So Intellipaat here provides a lot of different resources. So we have a lot of tutorials on Docker about different aspects of Docker. So I would definitely recommend you guys check out Docker tutorial or Docker tutorial, Docker training, that we have videos that explain everything in detail. So go ahead and check these out. They're very long videos that give you an extensive idea of what Docker is and how you can use it to get started and get the basics and fundamentals in order so that you can learn the advanced stuff later. So that's your Docker. So this is one of the resources that you can use. Now we here at Intellipaat obviously provide a lot of opportunities and a lot of resources that you guys can use. One of them was our YouTube channel. You can obviously check out our blogs. We have a lot of blogs on which you can learn about Docker if you want to read. Otherwise, guys, we have started this initiative called Intellipaat Academy. So at Intellipaat Academy, we're basically giving out parts of our courses, our paid courses, for free, because we know that COVID situation has become really bad. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and a lot of people are looking to upskill their jobs, in all the free time they have now. So this is an initiative we've taken. Go ahead and check out all the different courses we have. Anything you're interested in, it's completely free. You can use it to get a basic understanding of all these different things. And if you think you like the learning in all of these things, you should definitely check out our website, that is intellipaat.com. And here you can see all the different courses. So I would recommend checking out Docker course. So Docker course is, it's a very comprehensive course where we talk about a lot of different things, and everything that you need for giving the Docker examination will be over here. You will be able to learn everything that is there for your Docker examination and give your exam. And again, there are two options for you. You can either choose to, enroll in the online instructor class, or you can choose a self-paced course. Now, in the online instructor class, you'll be taught by people who have had years of experience with Docker and know everything about it, and they can help you with all your doubts. But if you're a person who likes to study by themselves, don't worry, you can also choose your self-paced course. And they come packaged together, so you can choose whatever you want based on what kind of mood you have, right? So guys, this is your Docker training course, and use the resources that I've told you about. I hope this helped you guys out to understand what Docker is and what Docker certification is and how it will help you out. An investment in knowledge always pays best interest. You should invest in your future right now because you have the right time to do it. Alright guys, I'll leave you with this YouTube 30 coupon code that you can use if you do decide to take up our Docker course. You get a flat 30% off if you use this coupon code, that is YouTube 30. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Ram. I hope you guys understood what was taught to you, and I'll see you guys in the next session.